Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Emma.
And I'm Ethan. It's good to be here with you.
Usually we start these episodes with high energy, ready to tackle a lesson. But today feels a little different. Today we want to invite you into a quieter space. We want to ask you a question that might feel a little uncomfortable, maybe even a little scary.
It's a question that I think haunts all of us, usually at 2 a.m. when we can't sleep, or maybe on a Sunday evening when the weekend has just vanished. The question is, are we really making the most of our time, or are we just existing?
Right. It's so easy, scarily easy, to just slip into the current. You wake up, you go through the motions. Work, eat, sleep. You scroll through social media until your eyes burn. You do it all again the next day. We rarely stop to look at the clock and ask, wait, am I using this moment wisely? Or is this moment gone forever?
You hit a nerve there, Emma. If I'm being completely honest, and I want to be honest with you guys listening, I think I spend a frightening amount of my life just drifting.
Drifting?
Yeah, like I'll tell myself I'm working, but really I'm staring at a screen, or I'm spiraling down a rabbit hole of random videos on my phone. It's my routine. It feels normal, but recently you challenged me to put a number on it. You asked me, Ethan, what percentage of your day is spent on things that actually matter?
And what was the answer?
It was a wake-up call. I realized maybe 30% of my day is meaningful. The rest, a staggering 70%, is just noise. Unnecessary things that, when I look back, won't matter at all.
70%. It sounds huge when you say it out loud, doesn't it? But I think most of our listeners are nodding their heads right now. That is the tricky part of modern life. We spend huge chunks of our day on autopilot. We fill the silence with distractions because we're afraid of being bored, or maybe afraid of what we'd think about if we were quiet.
Exactly. We don't even notice the time bleeding away. But then I read this fact that you shared, and it just stopped me cold. It changed the way I see everything.
The 4,000 weeks concept.
Yeah, the average human life is only about 4,000 weeks long. That's it. It's not infinite. If you're 40 years old right now, you have already burned through more than half of your supply.
It's a visceral realization, isn't it? When you hear life is short, it's a cliche. But when you hear you have 2,000 weeks left, it's a countdown.
It is. It's a massive wake-up call. I never realized just how short the runway actually is.
And that is exactly why we're having this conversation today. We don't want you to just manage your time like it's a spreadsheet. We want you to feel the value of it. We want you to walk away from this episode with a shift in your soul, a new perspective on what really matters.
Before we go deeper, and we are going to go deep, I want to mention that we've put together a guide for this episode. It's a PDF that sums up these key points, but also includes a quiz to help you audit your own life, plus some exercises to practice the English concepts we're using. You can download it from the link in the description. It's a great tool to make this real for you.
So let's jump back in. Ethan, let me ask you something nostalgic. Do you remember summer vacations when you were a kid?
Oh, vividly. They felt endless. Like a single July felt like an entire lifetime. I remember waking up and feeling like the day stretched out forever.
And now?
Now, laugh softly. I wake up thinking it's Monday, I blink, and suddenly it's Friday evening. The weeks just fly by. It's terrifying.
Isn't it strange? Back then, a week was an era. Now, years pass in a blink. But there is actually a scientific reason for this sadness. It's called the time perception paradox.
That sounds deep. Break it down for us.
It's actually quite beautiful, in a way. Our brains measure time based on new information. When we were children, everything was a discovery. New places, new faces, new words, new feelings. Because the brain was working hard to record all these new details, the experience of time stretched out. It felt slower.
Ah, I see. So because we were paying attention, time felt longer.
Exactly. But as we grow older, we settle. We fall into routines. The commute is the same, the coffee is the same, the job is the same. Our brains stop recording the details because they already know the script. The days blend together into one gray smudge, and time feels like it's speeding up.
That makes so much sense. It's like driving to a new destination. The drive there feels like it takes hours because you're looking at every street sign. But the drive home, it's over in a flash because you're on autopilot.
Exactly. So if we want to slow down time, if we want to stop life from slipping through our fingers, we have to break the loop.
We have to force our brains to pay attention again.
Yes, you have to step off the path. Take a different route to work. Pick up a hobby that scares you a little. Do something spontaneous.
You know, I actually tried this recently. Just last month, I signed up for a salsa dancing class.
You, salsa?
I know, right? I was absolutely terrible. I had 2 left feet. But you know what? Those 2 hours in that studio felt so fresh. They felt electric. It made that whole day feel longer and more vibrant than any day I've had in months.
Because you were present. You weren't wasting time. You were inhabiting it. But Ethan, there is something else that steals our time, maybe even more than routine. It's a word we use constantly to make ourselves feel better.
I think I know the word. Is it someday?
That's the one. The illusion of someday.
I'll write that book someday. I'll travel to Japan someday. I'll fix my relationship someday.
Someday is a dangerous word, Ethan. It's like a warm, comfortable couch. It feels safe to sit there and dream. But that couch is a trap. It's procrastination disguised as patience. It holds you back while the clock keeps ticking.
It's true. We convince ourselves we are waiting for the perfect time. We think, I'll start when I have more money, or when I have more energy, or when the kids are older. But here's the hard truth. The perfect time doesn't exist.
It really doesn't. Waiting for the perfect time is like sitting in your driveway, waiting for all the traffic lights in the city to turn green before you leave the house. You will never start.
I love that analogy. You'll be stuck in the driveway forever. So what do? How do we get off the couch?
We have to kill someday. You have to replace it with a specific date, even if it's a tiny step. If you want to learn guitar, don't say someday. Watch one tutorial today. If you want to get fit, don't wait for January 1st. Go for a 10-minute walk right now.
Just start, no matter how small.
No matter how small. Action creates momentum. Waiting creates stagnation.
You know, speaking of momentum, once you actually start moving, you run into the next big problem. We have so many things demanding our time. Emails, texts, bosses, family. It all feels loud and urgent. How do we know what to focus on?
That is the ultimate question of adulthood. Prioritizing. And to answer that, I want to introduce you to a concept that sounds a bit morbid, but it changed my life. It's called the Deathbed Test.
The Deathbed Test? Wow, that sounds heavy.
It is heavy, but it cuts through the noise like nothing else. But we'll dive into exactly what that test is and how it can clarify your entire life in an instant, right after this break. You won't want to miss this.
Welcome back. Before the break, you dropped a heavy concept on us, Emma. The Deathbed Test. I'm still thinking about it.
It sounds intense, doesn't it? But it's actually quite simple, and it cuts through the confusion of modern life instantly. Imagine you are 90 years old. You are at the very end of your journey, looking back at the movie of your life.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
Now ask yourself, in that moment, Will those extra hours you spent clearing your email inbox matter? Will you care about the stress over that one deadline? Or will you cherish the time you spent with family, friends, and doing the things that made your soul come alive?
Whoa, yeah, that hits hard. When you put it that way, 99% of the things I stressed about today just evaporate. It really forces you to see what actually matters.
It does. And once you see that truth, prioritization becomes so much easier. You realize that most urgent things aren't actually important.
I've actually started using a specific rule to help with this. I call it the top 3 priorities rule. Every single morning, before I open my phone, I ask myself, what are the 3 most important things I need to accomplish today?
Just 3?
Just 3. Those become my non-negotiables. Everything else is secondary. If I get the other stuff done, great. If not, I still won the day.
I love that. It's about boundaries. And part of setting those boundaries is learning the art of saying no to the things that steal our time. And Ethan, be honest. What is your biggest time thief?
Do I have to say it? It's social media. Trust me, I've had my fair share of wasted afternoons.
Haven't we all? It's terrifying. Social media is like this black hole for your time. You open an app just to check something for 5 minutes, and suddenly you look up and it's been an hour.
Exactly. It drains your focus before you even realize it's happening. You know, one thing that saved me was identifying those specific time wasters and setting hard limits. I actually turned off notifications for all my social apps.
I did the same recently, and honestly, it's been a game changer. The silence is peaceful, and once you take back that control, you suddenly find you have space for the things that actually matter.
Which brings us to a really beautiful point about how we fill that space. There's a rule I try to live by. Invest your time in experiences, not things.
Experiences over things. 100%. Think about it. Experiences stick with you forever. They become part of who you are. But material things, not so much.
That is so true. I remember a few years ago, I bought this expensive gadget. I was obsessed with it. I thought I had to have it. It felt exciting for about 2 weeks. Now, I barely use it. But if I think about the road trip I took with my friends 2 years ago, I can remember every detail.
Exactly. I had a similar realization. I once spent a fortune on a designer bag. It seemed so important at the time. Now, it just collects dust in my closet. Meanwhile, I took a weekend cooking class with my mom. It wasn't expensive, but it is one of my absolute favorite memories.
That's the beauty of it. Experiences create stories. Things just create clutter.
You know, Emma, talking about spending time on experiences reminds me of something weird about human nature.
What's that?
We obsess over saving money. We clip coupons, we look for deals, but we give away our time without a second thought.
Oh, it's a tragedy. We wouldn't take a handful of cash and throw it in a trash can, but we're totally fine wasting hours on things that don't matter.
And the crazy thing is, time is infinitely more valuable than money. You can always earn more money. You can get a second job, you can invest, but you can never, ever earn more time.
There's actually a term for this shift in thinking. It's called time wealth.
Time wealth. I like that.
It means having control over your schedule. Real success isn't just about the number in your bank account. It's about having the freedom to spend your days the way you want.
That is huge. I had a friend who landed this high-paying dream job. Everyone was jealous, but the job came with 80-hour work weeks.
Oh no.
Yeah. She made a lot of money, sure, but she couldn't enjoy it. She had absolutely no time for family, no time for hobbies, no time for herself.
That's the trade-off, isn't it? Sometimes earning more money means sacrificing the very time you need to live. Before you know it, you're too exhausted to enjoy what you've earned.
So true. The goal shouldn't just be financial success. It should be creating time freedom.
I like to think of time as a blank canvas. The more of it you control, the more you can paint the life you actually want to see.
I love that image. But to paint that picture, you need focus. And that brings me to the biggest lie I used to tell myself. I used to be so proud of my multitasking skills.
Oh, the multitasking master. Let me guess, it didn't work out?
It was a disaster. I realized multitasking was just making me more stressed and less productive.
I've been there. I used to try to answer emails, cook dinner, and watch TV all at the same time.
And the result?
Burnt pasta and half-finished emails that didn't make sense.
It's like juggling. Eventually, you drop everything. But when I switched to single tasking, doing just one thing at a time, everything changed. It became easier.
It becomes a calming experience, doesn't it? Like cooking a meal while being fully present. You savor the chopping, the stirring, the tasting.
Exactly. When we are fully focused, we actually enjoy what we are doing. We're not just rushing to get it over with.
So we've talked about prioritizing, valuing experiences, and focusing. But how do we actually know where our time is going? Most of us are just guessing.
That's the missing piece. And I have a tool, a slightly shocking experiment I tried that reveals the truth about your day.
We're going to talk about that experiment plus the surprising power of doing absolutely nothing right after this. So before the break, I mentioned an experiment that shocked me. I thought I had a pretty good sense of my day, but then I tried keeping a time log.
A time log, like a diary?
Exactly. For 1 week, I tracked everything, and I mean everything. If I scrolled Instagram for 15 minutes, I wrote it down. If I stared at the wall for 10 minutes, I wrote it down.
That sounds terrifying. What did you find?
It was brutal. I realized I spent way more time scrolling through my phone than I ever admitted to myself. It's like tracking your spending. You think you're being careful with money, but until you see the bank statement, you don't realize how much you're spending on coffee. You can't manage your time if you don't know where it's actually going.
That is such a powerful comparison. And I bet once you saw those patterns, those leaks in your day, you could finally fix them.
Exactly. I found an extra hour every single day just by cutting out the mindless scrolling. But Emma, finding that extra hour brought up another issue. I felt guilty if I wasn't using it to work.
The guilt of rest. We are programmed to think that rest is lazy or unproductive. But I'm here to tell you, it is the exact opposite.
Say that again for the people in the back.
Rest is not a waste of time. Rest is a productivity booster. Think about your phone, Ethan. You have to recharge it or it crashes. You are the same. If you don't schedule downtime, you will eventually crash.
That changed everything for me. I started actually scheduling downtime on my calendar in a red block, just like I would for a VIP meeting. And honestly, I feel more focused and energized than ever.
I love that. I also think we need to schedule time to just think. I call it reflection. Just 10 minutes at the end of the day. Ask yourself, did I spend my time on things that matter today?
It keeps you honest. It stops you from slipping back into that autopilot mode we talked about earlier.
One last tip before we wrap up the strategy side of things. It's a concept that saved my sanity. Time buffers.
Oh, buffers are lifesavers. I used to pack my schedule back to back. 9 a.m. meeting, 10 a.m. call, 11 a.m. work.
And what happened when the 9 a.m. meeting ran late?
Chaos. It's like stacking dominoes too close together. One little nudge, traffic, a long email, and the whole day collapses.
Exactly. Buffers give you room to breathe. They give you space to handle life's surprises. Because at the end of the day, living wisely isn't about cramming as much as possible into 24 hours. It's about creating a life that feels balanced.
Beautifully said. It's not about how much time we have. It's about how we use it. If we focus on what matters, build in buffers, and prioritize experiences, we can actually build a life we love.
Absolutely. Now, we've used some specific language today to talk about these deep concepts. To help you really own these words, we're going to bring in Victoria for our vocabulary section. Victoria, can you break it down for us? Thanks, Emma. Hi, everyone. I've grabbed 10 key phrases from today's chat to help you express these ideas clearly. Let's look at a few of the most important ones. First, time perception. This is the way we sense how fast or slow time passes, like how summer felt long as a kid but short now. Next is time wealth. This isn't about money. It's about having control over your schedule. It's the freedom to choose. We also talked about a trade-off. This is when you give up one thing to get another, like sacrificing free time to earn more money. And one of my favorites, productivity booster. This is something that improves your efficiency, like a good night's sleep or a walk. Finally, time buffers. These are those extra spaces you leave in your schedule for flexibility. Try using time wealth or time buffers in a sentence today. You'll be surprised how professional and insightful you sound. Back to you, Ethan.
Thanks, Victoria. That was awesome. I'm definitely going to work on my time wealth.
Me too. So guys, as we sign off, remember, life is short. 4,000 weeks. That sounds scary, but it's actually what makes life precious.
Spend your time on what truly matters. Make room for rest, for reflection, and for a little bit of fun.
And if you want to keep this momentum going, don't forget to download the free PDF linked in the description. It has the quiz, the exercises, and a summary of everything we talked about.
Thanks for letting us be a part of your day. Until next time, stay curious, stay intentional, and keep making every minute count.
Bye for now.